teas this morning and thought that I would talk to you about the different teas that I use and I make and why I do what I do. So each night before we go to bed, I make these cold brewed infusions. And this one is mine, and it's a blend that I make specific for me. This one is my daughter's, so I make for her, and this is my husband's. And you can see, I don't have the camera set where you can see that they all look different. See, this one's really red. And so I wanted to talk about what I put in them and why, and let you know not to be afraid of herbs. A lot of us are afraid to use different herbs. I know when I first started out, I wanted to make sure this one's safe. Can I combine it with that one? How do I prepare it? But the best thing to do is just to get in and play with it. Do some research and make sure that they are safe herbs. But when you cook, you don't think about, am I putting too much time in this? Is it going to be safe for me to put this much time in there, or oregano? Those are all herbs. So what I do, so I'll start with mine. So this is the one that I make specific for me. I have an autoimmune illness specific to the thyroid. And so I make one that is for thyroid health, but also for the adrenals and things like that. So let me tell you what I put in this one. So for mine, I didn't put them in order over here. I start with mullein. Mullein is wonderful for any glands and also for respiratory health. And so this time of year, mullein is a wonderful herb. So you may see this one outside, those of you who live in the country like I do. It'll be wild. It has these big fuzzy leaves and this tall shoot with bright yellow flowers on top. But they're teeny tiny yellow flowers, and they only bloom the second year of growth. I use the flowers for my ears, so that's for another story. But the leaves are for respiratory health and for the glands. And so I am going to put 2 tablespoons in this quart jar of mullein. And this one I actually harvest myself. We grow it and harvest, but you can buy it from safe sources. I would look for organic. Sometimes I can get some from Star West Botanicals, or I'm blanking out. Mountain Rose Herbs is my number one choice. Sometimes they get kind of behind, and you have to wait for stocks, but that's my number one choice is Mountain Rose Herbs. But Star West Botanicals and I want to say Frontier Co-op. That's the other one. Okay, so in mine I have mullein. Another thing that I like to use is sometimes I use ashwagandha, and sometimes I use Eluethero or Siberian ginseng. I am out of my ashwagandha. It is right here. Ashwagandha is very calming. It is an adaptogen. It's something that is safe to take daily, and it's just very calming. Think ashwagandha, very relaxing. I'm out of it, so I'm using Siberian ginseng, which is also an adaptogen, and it's also specific to the brain and for brain health. And so I actually put this one in mine and in Shane's. We both have genes in our family where we could use some extra brain health for aging. So for this one, I'm going to put in just a half a teaspoon, not a lot. So Siberian ginseng is also good for energy. So not only is it calming, but a lot of people will use it. A lot of athletes use it actually because it helps relieve some stress on the family, but it's also a little bit energizing. Something else I will use for energy sometimes that I'm not going to put in today is goto. And goto has an interesting flavor. It kind of smells to me like a freshly brewed tea. But it is very energizing. So if you drink goto, you may want to drink it in the morning, not in the afternoons. If you have it in the afternoons, you may have trouble sleeping that night. So that's goto. That one usually I will only put like a half a teaspoon in, even in this quart jar. So the next one in mine, something that I put in all of them is licorice root, which I left. Let me grab it. Licorice root is very sweet, but it's wonderful for the adrenals. It's also wonderful for gut health and for the lining of the gut. So I like this one. It's very sweet, but good for the adrenals, and it doesn't affect blood sugar. So if you have diabetes or pre-diabetes and you check your blood glucose, Then when you take it, check it just to double check to make sure I am correct. I don't want to throw anyone off that way. But I do check mine regularly, and it does not affect mine at all because of the way it is handled in the body. Now, if you have high blood pressure, I would not take a lot of licorice root. So a licorice root supplement is a little bit different from the licorice root powder. I have the powder here. Sometimes I have the ground roots. This one's the powder. If you take licorice root in a capsule, that can elevate blood pressure. And so if you're on high blood pressure medicine, be careful with licorice root. Okay, so for this one, because it's the powder, I'm going to put in 1/4 teaspoon. If I put more than 1/4 teaspoon in this quart jar, it would be way too sweet. If I have the dried roots, which I buy usually, then I would put maybe a teaspoon in there. So I put that in all 3 of ours. All right, what else do I put in mine? Sometimes I will put Motherwort in mine. I'm going to actually put that one in Shane's in a minute. Motherwort is good for the heart, and people with autoimmune illnesses sometimes need help with the heart health as well. In mine, I do put goldenrod. And so goldenrod really has a bad name. People see it growing in the fall. They see the yellow, and they think that this is something harmful that's causing their allergies. But it's actually the opposite. It's wonderful for allergies and allergy relief and for the immune system. And so I'm going to put a teaspoon. This is actually some that we had that we grew and harvested. And so it's going to be hard. You can see it won't even fit in my teaspoon. It's kind of big there. So I'm going to put that goldenrod in there. And that will be everything in mine. So I have in mine, I have mullein, I have Siberian ginseng or Eluethero. It goes by Eluethero now, so people don't get it confused with the other ginseng. Licorice root and mullein. Start it over again. Mullein, licorice root, Eluethero, and goldenrod. That's what's in mine. All right, the next one I have is I make for my daughter. And this one's great for anyone with, any woman, for hormonal health. Actually for men for hormonal health as well. We don't talk about men and hormonal health. It's also very high in nutrients. So for anyone who's suffering from PCOS, endometriosis, just regular PMS symptoms, this is a great balancing herb. For you. So red raspberry leaf. Red raspberry leaf is loaded with vitamins and minerals. It's fabulous for your health and especially for women's health. And so for this one, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in this quart jar with that 1/4 teaspoon of licorice. And that is all. And so that is very nourishing. And it kind of has a flavor, the flavor of artichokes. If you like artichokes, we actually like it and think it's quite pleasant. And with the licorice root, that makes it a little bit sweet. So I'm just shaking it up. And then the last one is this red tea. So this one I make mostly for heart health. So my husband's family has a history of some heart issues on one side of the family. And so I'm going to use herbs that are not only nourishing for the whole body, but also specific to the heart. And so for this one, I have the licorice root for the adrenals. But then I also am going to put in a tablespoon of Rooibos. This is red Rooibos tea. That is just ground up Rooibos tea. And that one's, and a little bit of Motherwort. I'm just going to put a teaspoon of the Motherwort. It doesn't have a very good flavor, but it's fabulous for the heart. I'm going to put in some red clover. I'm going to put this in mine too. I missed it for today, but I'm going to put it in his. So I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of red clover. So red clover is another one that is very, very high in vitamins and minerals, but it's also wonderful for the blood system, the entire cleaning up the blood. I think of it as a blood purifier, which is a weird thing to think about. But red clover for anyone who has a chronic illness or cancer, which is a chronic illness, or is trying to prevent cancer. That's what we use it for. We put in, that was just a teaspoon in a quart jar of the red clover. And I did that one. And the last one is hibiscus, which tastes delicious, is full of so many nutrients, and is also wonderful for the heart. I've spoken about that on another video. So let me shake it up so you can see. See, it's very grainy, so we'll just strain it when we go to eat it. So this one went from that to that. And so we just strain it and drink it the next day, put it in the refrigerator. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the different herbs. So hibiscus, wonderful for heart health, but also sorts of other things, full of vitamins and minerals. Motherwort, which is wonderful for the heart as well. It has kind of an off flavor. You want to buy a little bit of and taste it and see what you think. Hawthorne Berry is another one that I put in the heart one. Hawthorn is definitely known for the heart. It feeds the heart, nourishes the heart, and I ran out. So I just buy the whole dried organic Hawthorne berries, and I put a tablespoon in with the heart tea. But I can put it in mine too. I mean, put it in any tea. It's delicious. I did not put lemon balm in any of them, but lemon balm is wonderful for thyroid health. It's very calming. It is also a tonic, which means it can be taken daily. We have the red raspberry tea, high in vitamins and minerals, a very pleasant flavor, wonderful for hormonal health and for boosting nutrients. So anyone who is deficient in nutrients, red raspberry is wonderful for that. The goldenrod, which is wonderful for the immune system and especially allergies. The Eluethero or Siberian ginseng, which is an adaptogen. It also gives you a little bit of energy, but it's also calming for the adrenals. Licorice root, which is wonderful for the adrenals. It also assists other herbs. Goto kola, which is very energizing. Don't take this one at night. I just use a little bit because it is that energizing. Mullein, wonderful for the glands and specifically for the lungs and respiratory health. And Ashwagandha, which is very calming. Ashwagandha, relaxing, good for the adrenals. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about my different teas. If you mix and match your own teas, let me know. If you have questions about different teas, please feel free to comment and let me know what your questions are. Once again, just start playing around with the ones that you know are safe, ones that you've read about before. I had purchased things like, I had lemon balm growing in my yard. I had, let me think about other herbs over here, passion flower, Tulsi. You know, you see them and you want to use them and you're just curious. How do I combine them? What can they go with? Things like that. Once you read and see that they are a safe herb to use, go ahead and combine them with something and just see how does it taste, how does it feel in your body. So it's very easy to find information. There are a lot of books out there. If you go to Mountain Rose Herbs website, they have a blog. You can read about the different herbs and see what they're for in the body. When I use herbs, I don't like to use herbs as a, you have an ailment, use an herb to fix it. That is not getting to the root of the problem. The best thing to do is to use herbs to nourish certain parts of your body and bring your body back into balance. If you have a chronic illness such as high cholesterol, maybe not taking something to lower the cholesterol, but something to bring the body into balance so that it naturally comes down on its own. If you have blood sugar problems, not something to lower your blood sugar, but something to help your pancreas work better or your cells work better to absorb sugar, things like that. It's better to nourish those organs so that the body fixes itself, and then you don't need those herbs later on. We're not going for something that we have to take for a lifetime unless it is like a tonic that can be taken daily just to keep you nourished. Anyway, any other questions, let me know. Comment below, like and share my videos, and have a wonderful day.